Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Ah, fucking hell. Well, that's gonna hurt for a while, but I had to get your attention somehow. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Nickelodeon show that ran from 2005 to 2008 that used to completely have taken over the network before SpongeBob decided to take that job for them. Was a show that, as you can tell, I'm as late as ever to be, as the show came out back in the early 2000s. One of the most beloved cartoons of all time. And as usual, I'm like... Am I 15 years late? No, I think I'm like 12 years late. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty much over a decade late for sure. So nothing else to do, and this was one of the big shows that got finally available to be watched on Netflix. I decided, why the hell not? Let's add this to the binge list to watch during being trapped in quarantine. And here's what I thought about Avatar. It's really interesting to think about it because I was actually alive when Avatar was first being aired on TV. I know it's crazy, right? But no, I was a young kid when all this was coming out, and it was all coming out for the first time, and people were going crazy about it. But just like a lot of things, strangely, when I was a kid, it just never caught my attention. Which is really weird that I think about how many things that were popular when I was growing up as a young little boy that everybody else would talk about, especially all the boys of my age would be excited for, like Batman, the superhero stuff, the MCU when that first started. And strangely, I was just really always stuck in my little corner talking about Spider-Man, Star Wars, or Ninjago, which was a huge thing. This is not Ninjago. Why'd I point at that? I thought it was... Which is why when anybody else would ever talk about stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And really, it's just been, anime as a whole has just been something I've always been very turned off by, I think is the best word to put it. There is nothing but respect that I have for the anime culture, for the impact that it's had on the world of entertainment as a whole. Shows like Dragon Ball and even Attack on Titan that have been some that I've watched throughout the years that I've greatly loved, but simply the fact is, every time I try to watch them, I can't continue. I think it really has a lot to do, which might sound kind of racist, the fact that I don't understand what they're technically saying, even though, yes, you could read the dub, but just like any other, for example, of Latino culture, Spanish-speaking parent can tell you, even if you can read the subtitles, it's just not fun to be wasting a lot of time reading what they're actually saying to understand what they're saying than just paying attention to what's going on. It's not fun. It'd be way more entertaining to watch a show you can actually understand and go with the plot and go with the characters than watch something that you're pretty much have to pull out a dictionary every hour or pause it every second and realize what they're saying if they go too fast. It's a lot of work. Knowing my lazy, dumb American brain, it's just not going to work for me. So Avatar was actually a fresh breather for me for the first time because, first off, it's in English, and second off, before I know I pissed a lot of people off after what I just said, it's technically not anime. This is what makes shows like Avatar and even another one like Teen Titans that were all strangely coming out at this time so unique. Anime-inspired American animation. Or American anime-inspired... No, yeah, anime-inspired American animation. That's the right word for it. Shows that are very influenced by anime culture and anime style and the anime animation with the American touch to it. You know, classic Looney Tunes feel. Or what I've noticed a lot about anime, the best way you can explain it, it's almost got that very flash animation-like feel. And anime's always been known, historically, to be very cheap. As a matter of fact, the reason anime has a lot of those styles and those iconic fight scenes with, you know, the close-ups and the weird zoomy thing in the back that's always, you know, going back and forth is because since a lot of the original Japanese animators of the 80s didn't have really much of a budget for things like Dragon Ball Z that asked for so much with their crazy fight scenes and the crazy world building that they simply would cut a lot of corners and do a lot of things like those iconic close-ups. And notice that a lot of the moving mouths were very little to no expressive, and it was really the eyes that did all the work, which is why you always see anime characters with those ridiculous eyes. American animation decided to take that and add our classic American animation style feel to it. To add, when you watch a lot of The Last Airbender, that very cartoony, Looney Tunes-like feel that I like to identify so much with it, because everyone fucking loves Looney Tunes. I don't know what other show to bring up that everyone won't get. So, shows are freaking amazing. From the world building, from the characters, and from every single episode somehow exploring something new that these characters will learn and go through a journey. It's almost literally like Star Wars. That's what it is. Like a very Asian-inspired Star Wars, which is kind of amazing to know that this show was around when I was growing up and I was never into it. Like, this would have been the perfect show for me when I was like 5 or even 8 years old. I don't get it. I guess I was just, I don't know, that lazy when I was a kid. But it's insane to really see how geniusly made this show was that came out when I was younger. From the characters, from the breathtaking animation, from the incredible storytelling that you start to learn of this bigger world and the world of the Avatar, with these 4 different nations that have mastered these 4 different elements that surround and create all the life as they know it. Is that hinting at something? I hope you realize that's meant to be a reference to the Force. And then to even add more to that, then when you have the cast like famous stars like Mark Hamill voicing the literal Fire Lord. This show was so much like Star Wars. It hurts. I don't understand why I never got into it. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm sorry. And even other things, like the fact that Dave Filoni from Star Wars The Clone Wars used to work on this show, and if I'm correct, even work completely on the first season and was a director for most of the episodes. So it was so crazy to see where this guy originally mastered his craft, and watching a lot of the Mandalorian behind the scenes episodes that came out on Disney Plus to celebrate the show, when he talked about how when he first started on the Clone Wars that he never really had much experience on 3D animation, I was like, I wonder what else he worked on. What was he talking about? To then realize that he worked on The Last Airbender, and then to see that a lot of the 3D animation was brought onto that show, which is what I forgot to mention earlier on the animation style. And I really mean that of how incredible the characters are. Every single character, side, background character to main ones, all of them get their chance to shine, and you always get to learn something about them. Not one detail in this show gets thrown away. It's like Breaking Bad levels of excellent writing. It's insane. I just absolutely love how even one of my favorite characters that turned out to be in the show was originally just a side character. It was meant to be the background guy to the main bad guy of the first season, Zuko, Iroh. That I think everyone can agree, he's the best. He's like Master Yoda if he was an old Asian guy. He's absolutely incredible, and he's one of my favorite characters throughout the whole show, and even has some of the best episodes. One of my favorite episodes I want to bring up on the show, which was absolutely the show stealer, was what I originally thought seemed to be a throwaway short of just Iroh just going through the city and living his city life of what he was doing while they were in the Earth Kingdom, and that part of the story. And you soon learn by the end that the reason he's so happy and cheery and so kind to people is because he feels so guilty of the fact that he lost his son in a war. I cried so much during that. I mean, it's just insane too of how incredibly well taken care of each single one of these characters are. Everyone really gets their moment to shine, and most importantly, everybody gets explored. One of my favorite characters will always have to definitely be the main antagonist himself, Zuko. When the show starts, he's your classic baddie, obsessed with power, with defeating the last threat to the Fire Nation and their conquest of the entire world, of killing the last Airbender and the supposed new Avatar. And throughout every episode, and throughout especially the first 2 seasons, you see his obsession consume him. Of when you find out a lot of it isn't really about him wanting to get all the power, just simply getting the approval of his cruel father, voiced by Mark Hamill, another amazing character, and how obsessed he is with just getting that simple, good job, son, I'm very proud of you, and how far he will go just to get it. Instead of thinking for himself and actually taking time to realize what the hell he's actually doing, he's so obsessed and dedicated with just pleasing his father that he's willing to even slaughter thousands and invade and destroy civilizations of thousands of years just to please his father. But as the show goes, he gets this redemption arc as he slowly starts to learn and realize, after going through such hardship, that his dad doesn't love him. Mark Hamill's a dad, probably is the best dad of all time, especially if he's kind of the Fire Lord. He doesn't really have to do any of this, and the true consequences of what he's caused for everything he's done for the last few years. And that's what's so impressive in the end of this show. It's a kid's show. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the big problem with this show that it does suffer, unfortunately, especially the first season, I definitely say, is that because it's a kid's show, they obviously have to go for the family-friendly, cheery dialogue. And it's just insane that a show that still even sometimes struggled with just trying to be family-friendly, Nickelodeon TV show, the same place network that has SpongeBob and the Rugrats in it, especially at the time, can be a show with epic battles and complex themes of good and evil and redemption and who can you trust and responsibility and growing up. It's so insane that a show can do all that despite still being a show for kids, and that's what I love so much about The Last Airbender. Without a doubt, the greatest strength of this show is its characters. They will stay with me forever, and Uncle Iroh will always be next to Yoda with me. This is one of the wisest characters and one of the greatest teachers and mentors you can ever have in the world of cinema. And it's what makes entertainment and filmmaking just so exciting in such an incredible world, and the incredible good it brings. It's crazy to once again think that a kid's show can teach so many incredible things and very complex and adult themes to children. This is meant to be for, like I said, 5 to 8-year-olds. My third grader friends were talking about this show when I was growing up. So it's great to see shows like this and influences like this we're having on us as younger children. I know I'm late to it and I'm already 18, but hey. So in conclusion, with its breathtaking and even game-changing pioneering animation of anime-inspired and 3D CG animation into the show, and its incredible dedication to writing and character development, and its rich, diverse characters and incredible genre-bending episodes, The Last Airbender is without a doubt not just one of the greatest kid shows of all time, but just one of the greatest shows to have ever been blessed in the world of animation and in the world of film. I'm so glad I finally got to check out this show. It's especially in times like this, it's just so good to see something just of pure good and pure love. The show was clearly made with passion, with work, and was something incredible that has now been proven to last even a decade later. This show earns a 10 out of 10. Every season just keeps getting better and better, and all of them are strong in its characters and its writing, which is ultimately what matters in a show. Guys, that was my review of The Last Airbender. I know this show is like over a decade old, and there's so many other shows I could be reviewing, but you know what? It took me so long to watch this show. I had too much fun that it'd be a crime if I didn't give my thoughts on it. What did you guys think of The Last Airbender? Knowing that it's super old and that everybody else pretty much seen it with their mothers already, I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you disagree with some of my favorite characters? Do you like others? Do you think anybody else could be wiser in the show than Iroh? Clearly not, but let's just see how stupid you are. Thank y'all for watching. This really means a lot. I know times are still getting tough, and it just seems like things aren't getting better. I understand how I really just want to see one day all my videos during this time just be connected and see how they progress, of how just things keep getting crazier and crazier. But I just always hope you guys remember that things aren't normal like this. This is not how the world works, and we can get through this, and the world can be a better place. But right now, just take care of yourself, take care of your family, wear a goddamn mask when you go outside, stay safe, take care of yourselves. You all have a lovely day. See you guys.